You're listening to the NFPT podcast, where we help aspiring trainers pass their exams and launch their fitness careers. I'm your host, Erin Mahoney, General Manager and longtime certified personal trainer. Today, we are going through sample exam questions over the SAID principle. And this is part 2, but you don't need to have seen part 1 yet. All you need to do is jump right in and let's go through it. So let's get started. And before I read you the question and the answer options, let's do a little review. The SAID principle, that's SAID, is also interchangeably used as the principle of specificity or the specificity principle. And it stands for specific adaptations to impose demands. Basically, train how you want your results to be. There are 3 types of specificity. The first is mechanical. Mechanical specificity refers to the weight and the movement or the exercise selection that you have your clients doing. Then you've got neuromuscular specificity, which is all about the efficiency and the effectiveness of the neuromuscular system, the nervous and muscular system, to communicate in order to produce the right contractions at the right time. And then lastly, we have the metabolic specificity type, and that's where energy systems come into play. So, what energy system are we leveraging in order to complete the activity? Let's get started. So, we've got 2 sample exam questions, and let's start with the first one, which is according to the principle of specificity, what is the best way to develop hypertrophy? Is it A, low rep ranges with minimal rest, B, maximum strength intensity with low volume, C, high volume with a moderate rep range, or D, vertical loading for major body parts? All right, so let's read through the question again. It is, according to the principle of specificity, what is the best way to develop hypertrophy? Is it A, low rep range with minimal rest? B, max strength training or intensity with low volume? C, high volume, moderate rep range? Or D, vertical loading for major body parts? Now, before we jump into dissecting it all, let's start with a CPT test taking tip. There is one answer option in here that doesn't quite match the others, and that's answer option D. So A, B, and C all refer to high or low rep ranges or volume. So typically, when there's an answer option that is completely non parallel to the other answer options, it's usually incorrect. So here's a hint: vertical loading for major body parts is not the correct answer, but we'll break it down as to why. All right. So when we look at this, answer option A, is it a low rep range with minimal rest? Now, is it answer option A, lower rep range with minimal rest? Now, we do know in order to increase lean body mass, we have a lower rep range, but we're not all the way down at the bottom of the scale. We're not doing 1 to 4 repetitions. So that makes it likely not the correct answer. But then we also see in answer option A that it says minimal rest. And we need rest in order to adequately replenish our energy sources. So, with that being said, in order to increase lean body mass, answer A is not the correct answer. So, answer option B is maximum strength with low volume. Now, this is similar to answer option A. Maximum strength is achieved through 1 to 4 repetition ranges. You are pushing as much weight, as much intensity as you possibly can. And then it's paired up with low volume. So we know that hypertrophy training isn't on that low end of the spectrum for repetition ranges. So that's not the correct answer either. And then we've got C, which is high volume and a moderate rep range. So this one's closer to where it should be because we know we need to overload. We need that high volume. And the rep range isn't high, right? It's not 12 to 25. It's in between. Moderate is 8 to 10, 8 to 12. So this one is going to be very likely the correct answer. The answer option D is vertical loading for major body parts. Now, you might get hung up on vertical loading if you're new to that term, but don't get tripped up if a term looks foreign to you. That's okay. It doesn't mean you miss something major. Vertical loading is when you do one exercise and then you move on to the next exercise. And then you go through and do the second set after you've completed all of those exercises. So, this is not the correct answer. Instead, C, the one that we said probably was the correct answer, is. So, I'm going to read it to you again. According to the principle of specificity, what is the best way to develop hypertrophy? And the answer is C, high volume with a moderate repetition range. Let's check out another sample test question. The best strength exercise to improve a client's vertical jump is A, barbell squat, B, hip thrust, C, barbell lunge, or D, a push press. All right, the question again is the best strength exercise to improve a client's vertical jump is answer option A, barbell squat. Answer option B, hip thrust. Answer option C, barbell lunge. Or answer option D, push press. Now, as you're thinking these through, this can be tough because we know if we're trying to increase our vertical jump that we need lower body strength. So, therefore, a squat, hip thrust, lunge, those are all great exercises, even a push press, which is more of a total body exercise. So, this one can be tricky. But let's break it down. We know answer option A, a barbell squat, is a pretty good selection, right? Because right as I'm about ready to go into that vertical jump, the mechanics of the motion is a squat. That's what we're doing. So we're going to pause before we select answer A. We're going to move through the rest. Now, a hip thrust, so you're in a supine position, dropping your hips and lifting them up. That's great to develop glute strength. However, from a mechanical specificity perspective, it's not the best answer option in order to improve a client's vertical jump. Now, it could help, but it's not the best answer to this question. Then we've got answer option C, which is barbell lunge. Again, similar to a hip thrust, it's good because it's a lower body exercise and we are developing strength. However, in that split stance that you have with a lunge, that's not as specific as you could get to doing a vertical jump. So it's not the best answer. And then answer option D, a push press. So we've got a bit of lower body and upper body in this one. And although it more closely could mimic a vertical jump, it's not the primary mover for that vertical jump. We need a lot of lower body strength in order to hit that vertical jump. So, therefore, the correct answer to this question is A, barbell squat. The best strength exercise to improve a client's vertical jump is a barbell squat. Now, one more note on this is you might go into this question and say, shouldn't there be something in here on squat jumps or tuck jumps? And that is correct. There could be something in there, and that would be neuromuscular specificity because that's all power. But the question is asking about a strength exercise, not a power exercise. So we know that this is a little bit more about the mechanics involved in the specificity rather than the neuromuscular output that we're trying to accomplish. All right, as you continue to master the said principle, both for test day and with clients, remember, make sure that you know the definition of the term. And then beyond that, what's more important is knowing the different types of specificity and how they translate into the workouts. That's going to build your foundational knowledge. And then you've got to start applying things. This builds your application. So you're going to relate a client's goals or your own goals to the exercises that you're picking for every single workout. You're making sure that from a mechanical perspective that they align with what you're trying to accomplish. And then you should start evaluating the total workout alignment with the adaptation that you're trying to accomplish. So the total workout is going to be more of things like the rest and are you using stable surfaces or unstable surfaces? So you're just taking a hard look at what those workouts are and what you're trying to change in the body. And then you can apply the concepts by taking your chapter quizzes. That is like working out with passing your CPT exam. So those quizzes are workout day. And then ultimately, you're going to grow confidence in this topic by structuring goal specific workouts with the acute variables. So don't just stop with sets and reps. Make sure that you can leverage all of the acute variables. So sets, reps, rest, exercise selection, plane of motion, stability of the base, exercise order. Are you doing horizontal loading or vertical loading? Take all of these things into account whenever you develop workouts uniquely tailored to hit a goal. And then for CBT Test Day, take those practice exams. We've got 3 of them. And then finally, you will pass your exam. And I can't wait to hear about it. All right, that's it for today. Remember, the NFPT differentiator is that CBT success should not be complicated. And that's why, if you haven't already, you should enroll in your NFPT CPT today. But if you've already enrolled in another CPT, and you're having trouble, check out our recorded exam prep series. It supplements any CPT program, and we break down these tougher concepts into easy to understand terms so that no matter what, you feel better going into it. All right. Thank you so much for joining. Have a wonderful day and be well and keep moving. Today's episode is brought to you by Summit Professional Education. Unlock your potential with Summit Professional Education, your trusted partner for expert-led courses, flexible learning, and essential CEUs. Elevate your skills today at summiteducation.com.